Okay, let's start with something really unsettling. Early one Monday morning, Iowa City, 6:31 a.m., a 911 call comes in. It's short, very short.
Yeah, the caller, who turned out to be Stephen Sueppel, he just gives an address, Barrington Road, and says, send police.
And then, nothing. He just hangs up, no explanation, no why, just silence.
Exactly. It's this, like, deliberate call for help or maybe for discovery, but totally cryptic.
Yeah.
Really ominous start.
And it gets darker fast. Minutes later, police find Stephen's van, but it's not at the house he mentioned. It's nearby, crashed.
Yeah, driven straight into a concrete pillar, high speed, intentional. Stephen was killed instantly.
But that's just the beginning, unfortunately. When officers go to the house on Barrington Road, presumably to notify the family, they walk into something else entirely.
A horrific scene, a family tragedy that just shatters this perfect image Stephen Sueppel had built his whole life around.
Right, and that's what we're diving into today, the Stephen Sueppel case. We're going to look at the sources, trace how this respected community guy, churchgoer, seemingly loving father ends up committing murder-suicide, taking his wife, Cheryl, and their 4 adopted kids, Ethan, Seth, Mira, and little Eleanor.
It's that stark contrast, isn't it? The public Superman persona versus the private reality that led to this absolute catastrophe. We need to try and understand that.
Now, talk about that persona first, because it's key. Stephen Sueppel really did seem like the model citizen. Grew up 6th of 8 kids, super ambitious.
Worked hard from day one.
Yep.
Mowing lawns, serving tables, always driven. Got his business degree in '83.
And people liked him, respected him. Our sources say he was charismatic, responsible, a leader.
Definitely. People just seem to, gravitate towards him. And there's that story that really shows his early reputation.
Oh, yeah, the friend's family business.
Exactly. It was failing. And Stephen apparently lent them a lot of money, including family money and his own savings to help them out.
Wow. That really paints a picture of someone trustworthy, someone invested in the community.
It really does. And that seemed to carry over into his family life, too. He met Cheryl back in '85.
And they clicked, right? Shared values, both religious, went to church, and they both wanted a big family.
Yeah. Cheryl, she was very well respected herself, a teacher specialized in child development. Her students apparently adored her.
So they get married in 1990, and then, like you said, the big family dream, it hit some roadblocks.
They struggled with fertility for years. Stephen was doing well, climbing the ladder at a private bank, financially very secure. Cheryl was teaching. They decided, adoption was the path.
And they didn't just dip their toes in. 2007, they adopt 4 children, all at once, from South Korea.
It's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
Suddenly, this family they dreamed of is real.
Let's just briefly introduce the kids, because it's important to remember them. Ethan, the oldest, 11, seemed mature, sociable.
Seth was mine, described as shy, gentle, loved animals. Mira, she was 6, the little performer, always singing and dancing.
And the youngest, Eleanor, just 3. Very attached to Stephen, apparently, often seen being carried by him.
Such a picture of a happy, bustling family finally realized. And the commitment was immense. Cheryl actually quit teaching.
Yeah, she left a job she loved to be a full-time mom. Stephen became the sole provider for, a family of 6 now.
That's a massive shift. The pressure, not just financial, but everything. And this is where that perfect picture starts to unravel really fast.
Okay, so here's the turning point. October 2007. Just months, literally months after the kids arrive home, Stephen gets caught.
Caught doing what?
Embezzling from the bank where he'd been a trusted manager for 7 years, and it wasn't a small amount.
How much are we talking?
$550,000 USD.
Wow. Okay. That's significant. What happened then? Did he deny it?
No, he admitted it pretty quickly. But the reason he gave, that's where things get really strange.
What did he say?
He claimed he stole the money to feed a massive gambling addiction and also to buy illegal drugs.
That sounds convenient almost. Did the police buy it?
Not really. It immediately felt off to them. His whole personality, his reputation, it just didn't scream severe addict.
Right, and they checked, I assume.
They did. Tests confirmed it. No drugs in his system. He wasn't a user, so he was lying. Flat out fabricating this story.
Which begs the question, why? Why invent that lie? Being labeled an addict isn't exactly a good look either.
This is where we get into the psychology, maybe the shame aspect. Police looked into other things, like affairs found nothing.
Okay.
The main theory became about avoidance. He's facing ruin, prison, total public disgrace. Maybe admitting to something like gambling or drugs felt, I don't know, more understandable or less damning
than admitting he stole to fund the adoptions, or just to keep up this image of the perfect provider for his new large family.
Exactly. Like maybe that specific failing to provide for these children he'd just brought home was the shame he couldn't face publicly. So he invented a different, maybe more common vice.
That's a chilling calculation if true. The practical fallout must have been immense.
Oh, absolutely. He was facing up to 30 years in prison. Plus, he had to pay back the money, fines. Came out to around $800,000 USD.
Oof, how could they possibly manage that?
Cheryl immediately went back to teaching, trying to keep them afloat. But socially, they just vanished. Cut themselves off completely from their friends, their church, the community they were once central to.
The pressure must have been unbearable. Legal, financial, social, psychological. Just crushing.
And it all built up to those final terrifying hours. It shows just how quickly things went from, hidden shame to a complete break.
What's really disturbing is how well he kept up appearances right until the very, very end.
Yeah, the sources are clear on this. Sunday, March 23rd, 2008. The day before everything happened, the whole family went to church.
Normal Sunday routine.
And later that day, a friend visited their house. Saw Stephen playing happily with Eleanor, the youngest. No sign, absolutely nothing to suggest the horror that was coming.
But overnight, something snapped completely. Those voicemails he left. They paint a picture of utter desperation, maybe confusion.
Let's walk through that timeline because it's critical. It starts around 3:30 a.m. Monday morning. Stephen uses his old work voicemail system, which is weird in itself, to call his father and his brother.
And what did he say?
The message was short and horrifying. He said he had, quote, sent his family to heaven.
3:30 a.m. So the implication is the murders had already happened by then.
It seems so. But then, just minutes later, he does something else strange. He calls his own home phone number.
Of a different phone?
Yeah. And leaves a message, just says, I apologize, I regret doing everything.
Why call his own empty house? If he confessed to his family, what's the point of this message? Is it for the police? For posterity? A moment of regret?
It's hard to say. It feels like someone unraveling, performing contradictory actions, confessing, apologizing, maybe hoping for something.
And there was another call, wasn't there?
Yes. About 10 minutes after the apology message, he calls his home phone again. This time, he confesses something else.
Maybe.
He says he tried to kill himself by jumping into the river behind their house, but it didn't work. He said he just kept floating back up.
Okay, wow. So the sequence is murder, confession of murder, apology, confession of failed suicide attempt. It's chaotic. A total mental collapse unfolding in real time.
And then a few hours later at 6:31 a.m., he makes that calculated 911 call, gives the address for the crash site, not the house, hangs up.
And 4 minutes later, he drives the van into the pillar. The final act.
When the police eventually get inside the house on Barrington Road, the atmosphere must have been just heavy, silent.
They found Eleanor first, didn't they? The 3-year-old.
Yes, alone in her playroom. The cause of death was severe blunt force trauma to the head. There was a lot of blood.
Just devastating. And the others?
Upstairs, Cheryl, Ethan, Seth, and Mira, all in their bedrooms. Same cause of death for all 5 victims. Multiple blows to the skull.
Likely with a baseball bat, wasn't it? Found near Eleanor.
Yes. The autopsy suggested Cheryl was probably attacked first, maybe while she was sleeping. No defensive wounds.
Did he leave any explanation? Any notes?
He did. He left a note that described trying to kill the children first using poison or some substances around 3 a.m. in the van in the garage.
But it didn't work.
Apparently not fully. He wrote that some just fell asleep, so he brought them back inside. And then he used the bat.
Horrific. Was there anything else? Anything about why?
There was a second letter, and this one gets to his justification. It's deeply disturbing.
What did it say?
He wrote, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, I've always looked for a better way out, but I see no way. This is the only way I can take responsibility for what I have done. And then the key part. His family will not have to suffer if we leave together.
He saw this as taking responsibility. Killing his entire family.
It's a completely twisted logic, isn't it? He seemed to believe that death was better for them than facing the shame, the financial hardship he caused. He framed mass murder as protection.
It's the ultimate act of control disguised as care. Protecting his legacy, maybe? Or protecting them from his failure. It's hard to fathom.
That failure of the Superman image seems central. How did the public react when this came out?
Well, as you can imagine, it was divided, sort of reflecting that duality we talked about. Some people saw him as purely narcissistic.
Like, he couldn't handle the fall from grace. The shame was too much, so he chose destruction over facing it.
Exactly. That the Superman couldn't bear to be seen as a failure, so he preferred this horrific exit. Others speculated more about the pressure.
The pressure of the adoptions. That maybe he never truly wanted that many kids, felt trapped by Cheryl's dream, and the financial stress just broke him, leading to the embezzlement than this.
Yeah, that was another line of thought, that it was all driven by unbearable pressure he couldn't admit to or handle. Either way, his identity, his sense of self-worth was completely tied up in being this successful, responsible figure. And when that shattered...
Everything shattered. It's just tragic on every conceivable level what happened afterwards, legally, with the family.
The embezzlement case against Stephen was obviously closed after his death. And the family, despite the horrific circumstances, they held a joint funeral.
For all 6 of them?
Yes. They were buried together. The community, or at least the remaining family, seemed to feel they shouldn't be separated, even by this.
So, to sum it up, a picture-perfect family facade built on ambition and community respect. Then, a devastating, secret, massive embezzlement, a bizarre series of voicemails showing a complete mental break, and finally, an act of unimaginable violence with a baseball bat followed by suicide, all seemingly stemming from an inability to cope with failure and shame.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How tightly woven someone's identity can become with their perceived success, their public image. Stephen Sueppel's life wasn't just destroyed by financial ruin, it was destroyed by the collapse of the very idea of who he was supposed to be.
It leaves you with a really disturbing question.
What internal pressures, what weight of shame could possibly lead someone to view the annihilation of their entire family as the only responsible way out? It's something to really sit with long after you finish listening.
Absolutely. A chilling case from start to finish. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. We hope this look into the sources gave you some perspective on this tragic story.
If you found this analysis compelling, please do give us a like, share it with someone who might be interested, and consider subscribing to our channel, Horror Doc, for more deep dives into complex cases.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.